Where's the other? Why are you not taking damage? Alright.
Look, Father, isn't it beautiful?
Not now, Zana.
Okay, perhaps later.
But later never came. Irrevocable thoughts. You cannot hide from patience is a mercy. I am not decayed.
Hi, Limit Break Overdrive with another Path of Exile video. This time it's a build showcase for a project I worked on for about 2 weeks now, on and off. And it's Double Strike of Momentum, which is a skill I really enjoy. And this version of the build, I believe, is the second time I make, but the first time I make a video about, I'm not sure though. And it's stacking Trauma and Rage. And what made me want to do that this league, especially, is the Oshabi Ascendancy, which is, let's face it, the only Ascendancy a melee skill want to use. And it's this one here. The Wild Bear, plus 20 to max rage, which is 20% more damage, basically. And you get Wild Savagery. Once you reach full rage, you lose the rage, but you can generate it back. But you get 100% increased damage, 10% increased attack speed. You ignore physical damage reduction, not sure how much it's doing or not. And cannot be stunned, which I'll be talking about later. But I really wanted to do that, just to see like how much trauma stacks I can get before killing myself. And turns out, I don't know, because I could get more. I could just like level up and try to get more attack speed even, because it's pretty good. So the way I did that is I went Berserker for, of course, attack speed per rage, which means when we're at full rage and Wild Savagery, we get 90% increased attack speed, but there's more. This has 50% increased effect to the rage, which means it's also increasing the attack speed, so it's just bonkers how much attack speed we get. And 40% more damage, because, yeah. The instant leech, as much as I wanted it and used it last time, doesn't make much difference, because we're regening so much life that it's useless. But, well, not useless, but not really doing much is more fair. So I went with that. So if we look at the skills, I mean, I got a 2120 Vol Double Strike of Momentum on my first try, of course. You could do that, but you don't need it. It's just nice. As you can see, I don't even have quality on these gems. I didn't bother. I could get Awakened Gems as well, which I did not do, which would increase the damage. I was just too lazy. But you use Brutality, Melee Fizz, Rootless, Trauma, which I have 2120. But if you feel like you're taking too much damage, just use a 2020. It's a big difference. And then Momentum, which is a lot of attack speed. Again, and we're attacking so fast that we always feel the effect of Momentum. And I was leveling 1 here. War Banner, as you can see, it's enabled, but the damage does not count. I'm not trying to inflate the numbers. If you tick, you get 5 million damage. So it's not included, it's just on top. Vulnerability, I just used with cast when damage taken, because I'm, again, a lazy piece of shit. And Molten Shell is not enabled, but when it is, we get pretty tanky. And I could use Vol Molten Shell as well, I just, again, didn't bother. For auras, Arctic Armor is probably the most important aura, more than Determination, because we get 21% less physical damage taken from hits while stationary, and with this skill you have to not move, or not move as much as possible, like stay stationary. So that's pretty good because we hit ourselves with physical damage. And we're freeze immune, which means we can choose something other than Brine King. Enlighten, of course, Pride for a bunch of damage and determination. And also Flesh and Stone in Sand Stance. Just because you have to stand still and you whack and whack and whack. I want to take as little damage as possible from mobs, just so I don't have to move too much. But if you really want to, use it in Blood Stance and you gain 4 million damage. It depends what you want. I just like it more with Sand Stance. And Blood Rage for the Leech, even though again you don't need it as much for Life Leech. But it's 20% attack speed, so I do use it even against bosses. Precision, reserved on life with Arrogance. So that's the gems. And the items. I went full wham with Rage because I found this amulet right here with Berserking and Battle Trends. I got that for like 20C or I don't know, really cheap. And because I wanted Battle Trends for the 10 max rage. And this is 5 max rage, which means I can get 90 max rage. And this works with every 10 rage, so I got right on dot for another second of Wild Savagery. It's not that big of a deal, it's just like I went for the meme. So yeah, Bear's Girdle with Elemental Resist as an implicit, because resists are really hard to fit in that build. I feel like, because we have Celestial Brace as well, like it's 2 pieces of gear without resist, but that gives us a bunch of fortification. I could have spent more, get a 9 or 10, but I didn't feel like paying 10 divines, 10 additional divines for that was worth. My axe is, I mean, good implicits, but again, that's pretty cheap. Mainly for accuracy that I did that, for precise technique. So you can buy that and craft a way better axe easily, like 550, 600 physical damage. But the double attack speed implicit stack, and that's extremely important for damage output. But yeah, you can get better than that easily. The shield is insane, but it's not too bad. Craft. The only drawback is that you can't do that with a fractured one because you want to influence it. So you need... I don't remember how I did that. But yeah, 7 or 8 physical damage reduction with a bunch of life and resists or like useful stats and an open prefix. And if you only have an open prefix and you use a Crusader Exalted Orb, you're guaranteed to get damage per chance to block. It's the only prefix. So once this is done and you have an empty prefix, boom, you're done. So that's what I did. And that's a lot of damage. The helm is mostly reservation, life, resist, and accuracy. Like, I really struggled with fitting accuracy and resist, so I just went with that. And that reduced mana cost, extremely important, because we attack so fast that mana leech can't really keep up, so we need to reduce the mana cost to like 10 is what I have right now. And yeah, lower would be good too, but yeah, 10 is fine. Royal Plate, I went again with defense and some resistances. It's not the greatest, but I used Deafening Essence of Loading to get more reservation. That's one of the drawbacks of the build, like a lot of auras. And Fizz damage, Ignis Fire, and Global Fizz. You could take something else, like Aura Effect, which is probably better, but I was so unlucky with my orbs this league. I just said, fuck it. The boots... Resist, live, move speed. There's an open prefix. I could slam it with a Warlord Exalted Orb and get max endurance charge if I'm lucky, but... or unaffected by Burning Ground. Like, I could do that, or I just left it as is. The Amulet, again, resist. Reduced mana cost. Like life. It's a pretty good amulet for resist, because at some point you have to get them. I used the Vermilion Ring with life, reduced mana cost. The Amethyst Ring. This one I just bought because it was just filling my resist exactly like I needed, so I just said, alright, I'll get this one. So there's no reduced mana cost, but I could have worked harder and made myself a good ring. And the flasks, Granite, Basalt for armor, Silver for onslaught against bosses, and Sulfur for damage. And what makes this build work is the Forbidden Jewel setup. you steal untiring from the Juggernaut, which is 1.5% of physical damage prevented from hits, regenerated as life. And as you can see from the thumbnail, I can get like to 30, between 22 and 30,000 life regen per second is like frequent, but while mapping and like melting packs, it's like 6-7k life regen easily, so it's a big defensive layer. So pretty nice. And I went with a Watcher's Eyes with Chance to Impale because I wanted the additional fist damage reduction. I said, I'll get this one. It's like 80C and I get damage at least. So again, pretty simple. You could invest like with precision, attack speed, or whatever you want. As long as you get the additional physical damage reduction, which is for your survival, then yeah. And again, these accuracy notes for precise technique. As long as you have more accuracy than max life, like if you have 8,000 accuracy, you can spec out of these points and take damage or more life. Like the Lethal Pride has some life on it. That's why I picked this one, and there's some damage. And I went with the Cluster Jewel route. You don't have to. But again, it's a bit more attack speed, and I would have to remake one exactly like that with 2 attack speed, or 3, but 2 at least, because with the 35 effect, I believe you need 3 attack speed for it to go up to 4. But that would be way bigger. So again, room to improve on what I did. And dexterity, I was happy I kept it as is because it gives me accuracy. So that's basically the PUB. We went over the items, the skills. There's no notes because it's not really a build guide. It's more of a showcase. But you have all the information if you want to replicate it or improve upon it. Again, the damage. When you use trauma stacks, the more you have, the more PUB kind of inflates the damage. Like this is 102 stacks. I'm never getting that. Like I got 95 against like a tier 4 Harvest Beast. So instead of lowering that to an amount and tinkering, I just did not take the Wild Savagery note and left it as is. You could do like, alright, 75 is something I get all the time. And Wild Savagery, you could do that too. And then you could also say, I'll leave it like that. Wild Savagery, my banner is planted. I'm taking Berserk. Where is Berserk? Here, like, oh my god, 54 million damage now. You can get that, but it's pretty damn rare. Almost never, so yeah, that would be cheating. And Blood Stance as well, so like 60 million, I don't know. I'm not doing that. Like, it's realistic. Like, I did like big invitations and the bosses were melting. Even the Feared, even though I fucked it up because I put mods on it that I should not have put, but anyway, doesn't matter. So that's a pretty interesting build. I'll leave the link in the description for the PUB in case you want to try it. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.